I'm never quite sure I believe it until people actually start showing up, though. But it says I'm live. I should believe it, but I don't trust technology hardly at all. It always seems to go wrong. So now we're just going to wait a second and wait for people to show up, and then we will believe. Maybe if people show up, maybe this is the time nobody shows up. Ah, Drigas, thank you for showing up, Drigas. Thought it was just gonna be me and my officers. There we go, guys. Woo! It's always the worry. Living with imposter syndrome is a crippling thing at times. Uh, Not trying to get rid of you. Trust me. I need the fans. Without you guys, I don't have a job. It is coincidentally 8 years as a full-time author this month. 9 years on Patreon. 8 years as a full-time author. This October will be 10 years published. So things and stuff. We have more news as well. But yeah, for those people who don't know about May, my full-time anniversary, there's the Facebook and Discord giveaways for those who would like to try to win one of the challenge coins. And for the lucky person on each side that gets offered a red shirt um, option. So there's that. So what are we talking about? Let's see. We are finishing off the second month of Aethers 12. It came out, did what Aethers does, really nice. Andy has recorded it. It is in the editing process on her side of things. Um, so if we get really lucky, end of this month, sometime next month, we should have the audio for Aethers 12 coming out, which we have then, of course, June 1st. We have, as you can see there, Heavenly Chaos 5, Delving and Dating. The pre order for that is actually up as of yesterday. So you can go and pre order the next Heavenly Chaos if you want. It is there for those who are not KUing it first. For those of you who are going to KU it, it will be released as normal. So what is that? Basically the 1st of June, but depending on where you are, you might get it, a couple of hours before midnight, depending, because like I normally get things released at 9 p.m. the day before, because of how they do things. They release it on the East Coast timeline, it seems, which works out. And then of course after Heavenly Chaos 5, we will be rolling into Antecedents Legacy 7, which is going through editing, which is going to be Origin Signal. And then after that, we will be rolling into Aether's 13, titled To Be Determined still. Um, I have a few ideas for a title of that. I haven't fully pinned one down yet, so we have the To Be Determined there. So that kind of gets you guys into the idea of what has been going on and what we're looking at going forward. Of course, in July, I will be at the Lit RPG Con. Shinhofen Books is bringing you the vendor hall for that convention. So look forward to that. I do have tables. I will be giving things away, not selling them, giving them away. So please come get free stuff. And then there's going to be some very limited items that are going to be given away that I'm not going to discuss. And then there's going to be an actual important giveaway, raffle style, probably right on the last day as well. So things to look forward to for all of you if you are coming to the convention. For those not going to the convention, July also has something important coming up for you to look at. There is a Kickstarter that was pre-approved up today for a very special project that has been in the works for a while now. Um, and we are just holding back more information on that at this time. But the Kickstarter for the "If You're Interested" page is up, so you can get the email when we go live on that, so you can check out all the goodies of that. We might give you more information on that next month, maybe. Um, Speaking of Kickstarter, though, we are reminding people who have not completed their surveys for the Aethers Special Edition Kickstarter, you need to do that. Those are going to close out, and if you don't give us your survey, we can't get you goods. So you need to do your surveys, folks. Go to Kickstarter, finish your surveys. This way we can get you the things that you wanted. Um, there's only like 8% of people who haven't yet filled out their surveys. The majority of you were on it right away. We really appreciate that. Makes it a lot easier for us. We are in the process of gathering everything from all the various vendors now. 26 people left. Um, so we are getting all the materials together so we can look at fulfilling. Probably fulfillment will be right at the end of May, early start of June. And if you are one of the people who are international, it will take time to get across the oceans or across a border if you're like in Canada or Mexico or something. So just, factor in the fact that once we do ship them, it might take a little while if you're international. So my mustache is catching my mic and it is starting to upset me. So welcome in, guys. I do have questions that I can get to, so I do appreciate that. I will start in on those. Remember that the live chat goes basically as long as I have things to talk about, or until I face plant, because this is getting up on the time where I start drifting. This is basically getting to the point where I go lay down after getting ready for bed, get my hour or two of reading in, and then face plants, which I will words. Words are hard. Take it from me, I use them every day. I will admit that at the moment I am, of course, reading what most of the Lit RPG crowd is reading, which is the latest book from Dinniman. I think it's Parade of Horribles is the title. I'm terrible with names, but I'm pretty sure that is the latest DCC that is out. So of course, like most of the genre, that is what I am currently reading. And then I have my TBR waiting for me. Just some books get a jump to the top of the queue when they come. And Dinniman's is always going to be one of those. I think by the time I finish that, Tress might have gotten his next Monster Girls in Space book out, which that will do the same thing and jump to the top of my queue. So there is all of that. We are excited to get the AR12 audio out there, Alla. So there is much rejoicing all around once it comes out. When you are writing and you add humor, do you laugh at what you write? Sometimes. Just like I've also had to stop and wipe away a tear a time or two. It happens. If emotion is involved, then I am doing it right, I would like to say. So free. Do you accept free stuff in return? Depending on stuff, Gel. Like I don't want stolen goods, for instance. I don't want to be known for accepting stolen goods. So it really depends on the type of free stuff. So my first question that I had for you, you said you watch anime with your group. My presumption is that you work through one show at a time. My question is, how do you come to a consensus on what show to watch next? So what happens, Paul, is the Crunchyroll account is mine, not Sean's. So what I will do is like once a week or so, I'll go through and see what's up recently, and if it looks vaguely interesting, I just add it to the watch list. And then when we finish a show, we'll pull open the watch list and start going down it and looking at what the blurbs are and decide what we want to watch. I think we currently have 8 other shows pending. Um, like first season series, things that we've watched season 1 of, we are going to watch. Like, so I can't think of something off the top of my head because I'm terrible with names. But if a season 2 of something we enjoyed comes out, it is the next show we watch because we enjoyed season 1. If it's something new and we get through an episode or two and we're just not feeling it, then it just gets removed from the watch list. But normally, I let Sean kind of pick them off because anything that I've put on that list is something I'm interested in. And if he goes, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be interested in that one," then I'll normally give it an episode or two myself to see if it's something that I think he would enjoy. And then if it is, I'll say, "Dude, we should watch this one. I think you'll enjoy it." Otherwise, I just remove it from the watch list. So still working, so I'll be lurking, but y'all have fun. Okay, Apoc, you have fun, buddy. Words. My words are wording. It's late for me, so I'm not surprised my words are wording. So yeah. How many are super bundles? I don't know. And I don't know if she's replied to you either. I know we did not sell them all out. I can say that. Yeah. We had not sold them all out. There are still some for the late backers and stuff to get to who wanted them. Heavenly Chaos 5 pre-ordered and waiting 6-1. Thanks for letting us know. No problem. Like I said, I tried to get it up so it'd be up in time for this, so people here would have a chance to go over and get the pre-order if they wanted it. But it's always up to Amazon about whether or not it would work. It's like when you order a paperback from Amazon, sometimes they come in damaged. Since this is fresh in my mind because we had paperbacks we had to order from Amazon for the Kickstarter. Amazon. Amazon. Would would you ever have a handlebar mustache or full beard only? I'm a beard individual, so I have been told I am not allowed to shave my beard, and I listen to the women in my life. So pretty much, Zinal, we started about 12 minutes ago, so that was about 5 minutes from when you asked. Because that's how I normally roll. I am behind on questions normally, unless there's been a lull from you guys, and in which case I normally warn you when I'm getting to the last few questions so you can help prime the pump, as it were. What's the place that you had pop up for? What's the place you've had pop up for sending coins or Kickstarter stuff that made you the most surprised to have a fan there? I think Brazil. Um, I have at least one fan in Brazil I know. Sent coin. Um, what other country? Because I can tell you the bigger international places. Canada sent a few there. UK, Germany. Those are and Australia. Those are my four biggest like regions outside of the US. So I'm not really surprised to have fans there. Um, so the UK, Ireland, Scotland, and England combined. Um, Germany sent one to Italy. Uh, don't remember if I sent one to France. Sent one to Russia. Uh, but I think Brazil took me by surprise. Just just because language difference, which I sounds bad now that I say it out loud because it's Spanish to English, and then I have German fans, I have Italian fans. It's really no different. It just surprised me at the time. This was a while ago though, so at the moment, let's see. If I got one from like Zimbabwe right now, I'd probably be like, "Wow, okay, didn't expect that." But are you enjoying the latest DCC? It's interesting. It's like it's a new floor, so of course, and I'm not gonna spoiler the book for anyone. So that's all I can say at the moment. It's 6 p.m. there. You get sleepy this early. I get up at like 4 or 5 every morning. So yeah, I try to go to bed at like 9 at the latest so I can actually get some sleep. My cats are going to wake me up at 5 o'clock regardless. So yeah, yeah. I'm not a night owl. I was. I used to work graveyards, and when that was the thing, it was fine. But I'm a morning shift person now, so and my cats won't let me be a night owl anymore. So doing dishes and dinner, I happened to check my phone to put an audiobook on at the same time the notification popped up, or I would have missed this. Well, we're glad you could make it, McKnight. Hopefully, you enjoy the random ramblings that I do while trying to answer very simple questions, because I get sidetracked so easily. I'm still on the Bedlam Bride. Fair enough, Black. Fair enough. Have you read anything from William Rand? I've read most of Rand's stuff. His latest. Because it's not his last book. His latest is on my TBR. It was what I was going to start when I went to start something and saw DCC had dropped. So I just got the physical release of the graphic novel and the new book on Audible lined up. Yeah. So DCC, top of the market. It took number one on Audible and on Amazon. Not surprising in the least, considering. Very excited for Monster Girls in Space. I mean, I have enjoyed like 98% of all of Tress's books. I always give myself some wiggle room. But Monster Girls in Space is my favorite series by him, so your books always jump to the top of my list. And I appreciate that, Moke. Thank you. I keep seeing and hearing about Monster Girls in Space. I waved it off as just being more Monster Girl cliche. Is it? No, Tress actually writes really good books. It's not fat fodder. There is story involved. I would say give it a try, McKnight. I would not mention it as much as I do if I did not enjoy it. Is your watch list over 9,000? No, I haven't. I haven't had a Crunchyroll account that long, and we don't keep the ones that are bad. So, what is your favorite Andy blooper that you've had to make reference to or kind of allude to in a story? Oh, that I've alluded to in a story. Those are few and far between, honestly. If we're gonna do that, it would be the girls joking about Greg and Rafiq's secret relationship. Favorite bloopers, like overall, that is a much harder list to get to because she has done so many of them. And I've told her time and again, if you riff as a character, it's fine. Just record it as a blooper. Since I don't no longer have any podium books under contract, and it's all going back to just me and Andy doing them. There is a chance that we will see more bloopers returning. We will have to wait and see. So, did you watch Solo Leveling on Crunchyroll? Yeah, of course. I mean, I had read the books long before it became an anime. So, how did Sean feel about being the MC of one of your best series? He knew ahead of time. He is one of my alpha readers as well. But I told him I was what I was doing with the series to start with, and he laughed. He's the one who got me into knowing that lit RPG was a thing. I take him to conventions with me as my thank you to him. So he is actually coming to Lit RPG Con this time. We normally do Dragon Con, but we're not. I am not doing Dragon Con this year, so he's coming to Lit RPG Con with me. I just picked up Heavenly Chaos again, read the first three books, then dropped it, and can't remember why. Um, let's see. You might have gotten tired of the trauma that the main characters go through. I know that has been the biggest complaint I've got is these people should just get over this already, and I don't understand. These are people who probably have not experienced the same kind of trauma, or if you have, you processed it differently than the main characters have. The main characters processing trauma the way they have in Heavenly Chaos is a reference to people I know. I'll leave that there. I'm bringing minis, figures, and such for several people. So if you do accept, then I will add depending on what can be done with your likes and preferences. I mean, Jell, I'm not. I normally I don't turn down free stuff. It's really like I said. It's all going to depend on what is being offered to me at the time, and whether or not there is space and room for luggage. So more of a business than a book question. How do we contact your PR person? Um, I don't really have a dedicated PR person. I do most of my social media is done through me. The Kickstarter stuff is done through Jen. Um, so I don't really have a PR person. Depending on what it is that you're trying to get to, would either talk to me or I would hand you off to probably Jen. No, the cat is an engagement feature, and as you can see, we're not very engaging tonight. No cat. So I'm not sure in what reference that one was to. So, which of your characters would you say is the most similar to you personality wise? There are slices of me, slivers of me, and most of my main characters. Um, most of the characters that I portray are bits and pieces of people I know, and then grafted basically to a frame. So there are bits of me depending on which main character it is would reference which part of my personality is shown in those individuals. The one that I stayed out of entirely was Sean. Sean was based 100% on Sean. That was easy. I can't remember the last time I read a physical book. I've had a Kindle since day one. I prefer the real thing, but with how much I read and with KU, real books just ain't feasible. I mean, fair enough, Sam. I have my trophy collection over there myself. I have not opened those up to read the physical copy. I use electronic more often than not, my Kindle, or if I don't have my Kindle on me and I'm waiting in line somewhere on my phone. Um, so I understand, but I still have my trophy shelf. That one is basically all my stuff because I'm here, and most people who have those books can go, "Oh, I think I know which ones those are." Let's see. Nevada should just join Canada. There are a few states in the way. It would be really really odd to just have one Canadian province right like in the middle of surrounded by the United States. I mean, it's not like a peninsula that comes down where they're like, "This is ours," and all the rest of this can be yours. It would literally be a landlocked province at that point. It would be really odd. Let's be truthful. Going off an earlier question, have you ever started laughing so hard at something you wrote that you had to stop writing because you were laughing so hard? No, no. I have laughed. I've laughed and then maybe chuckled a little bit as I continue writing, but I've never laughed that hard that I've had to stop. I have them made black. But there's a company that I've used for every single one so far. They have never failed me. So the only, like I said, the only ones that I'm not 100% enthused at this point were my some of my earlier coins where I had the photo dome added to them. I wouldn't take that option now. So, but I still have hundreds of those coins, so it's not like I'm changing coins anytime soon either. How do I get questions on the screen? Kind of like this. This is kind of how you get questions on the screen. One of my officers goes, "That question there is something he's going to want to answer," and then they flag it for me. And then when I'm ready to answer it, I pop it up on the screen or pop it away off the screen like that. So, and then one of my other officers will sometimes throw up a comment that that isn't really a question. So, isn't Portuguese Brazil's primary language? It very well might be. I am unapologetically American in that regard. I do my best to be a little more broad-minded, but I could not tell you exactly what every country's official language is outside of the really obvious ones, like Germany, German, France, French. Outside of the really obvious ones, I would probably get some of them wrong. DCC Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yes, it is Brian. Dinnaman's latest series that has taken Lit RPG over. and has a TV show in the works and has really broadened things up. Book Talk and Book Instagram have been trending it more and more and more, and of course, since the last book dropped, even more now, which means more eyes on the genre as a whole, which is good for everyone who is in the genre. Why do you wake up so early? Because my cats demand it. That's why. They're either screaming at me or they're bumping me with their heads or something because they want their morning breakfast, and it has to be their wet food breakfast given to them at that time. Doesn't matter if they have kibble. They don't want the kibble in the morning. Cats are pampered. They are my girlfriend's cats specifically, but they are something that I take care of. Good morning from Australia. It is 11 a.m. here. Well, Smee, welcome in from Australia. Coming up on the afternoon for you. Let's see. Australia for the win. Now I want to go back through He Who Fights with Monsters again. Also another good series. Um, there are parts of He Who Fights because you have to remember He Who Fights is started as a web serial. There are parts with He Who Fights that I'm not the most enthused with. They make sense as a web serial though, and it's mostly some of the repetition of some items is just like okay. But Shirtaloon has still done far better with that than some of the other web serials that are out there. While reading book 4, Heavenly Chaos, comment caught my attention. Gnome multiverse. What does it mean to the story? How does the multiverse manifest? It's been mentioned that basically all the different uh, kingdoms, sects, um, government agencies with all their various planets um, might not exist in this. It basically like a flat universe like ours. It hasn't been extrapolated on all the way, so it's still open to interpretation for the fans until such time as I decide to either share more of it, or I should say Ben shares more of it with me that I share with you. There you go. We don't know more yet. Andy has done a lot of Will's books. I said Monster Girls to space on my list. There you go, Tress. I got you. I got you another interested hook, man. A gift from me to you. Is Witch Hat Atler on your anime maybe list? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I have a spreadsheet for names in my series for reasons because I'm terrible at them. I'm terrible at remembering names. Um, and since I have so much going on in my head, things that aren't as important, like all the different anime names, get pushed out. Are they good books compared to the anime? As with most things that have a book and then some kind of visual media, there are differences. I think books are always a better medium because you normally get more information than you will out of a movie, TV show, or anime. The anime is good, but I think any book will easily defeat a show just from sheer depth of what can be shown and shared. Do you expect the turnaround time for audiobooks to be faster now? I mean, faster than like 6 months? Yes, because we there was a point where we were 6 to 8 months behind some releases. So yes, I don't think we'll be that far behind again. I would expect 3 months, four at the most. We should have the audiobook of any given series out before the next ebook of any given series. So that is that is my hope. The question stems from AR12, but I feel it general enough to not get ban hammered. In school, their robes match their year, but upon graduating, do they get to wear the robe their medallion shows, or do they have to match the posting? They get the kimonos that they are supposed to wear. So when they were adepts, they wore green, even if their Aether wasn't actually an adept posting yet, and that was the case all the way up to Magus, and anything from after Magus, Master, Grandmaster, the kimono color only changes when they can actually reflect that power level. The other ones were just a, hey, this is the training year that you're in, and then Magus was basically the catch-all robe for most magi, because the majority of magi will never move past that. Will never poo blah blah blah. Will never move past Magus. Yes, words. People just don't get over trauma like that. And I would agree. And other people think that it drags the story down, or they got upset with the fact that the romance took up so much time. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you've never experienced romance in that same way. Mm. Do you think Ben will have a breakdown when he lets Cell break through the memories he has blocked? We will find out, Rain. We will find out. Ben will tell me when that time comes. Do I think it is possible that there is a moment where there is going to be some heavy shit shown and have to be worked through? Yes, absolutely. There's a whole chunk of his past that has been blocked away from him. I think if we took like the first 5 years of your memory and locked them off, and then you were suddenly, shown things again, you might also be like, what the fuck? Especially if you don't have any memories of anyone before, the abusive quasi uncle. Just saying. Why aren't you going to Dragon Con? Too many people? Um, Too many cons, honestly. One con is okay. Two cons is stretching my ability to people. This year I'm doing Jesus. This year I'm doing just Lit RPG Con. Next year I will be doing Lit RPG Con and Dragon Con, and then after that I will make decisions. Man, it is hard to speak today, guys. I am very sorry for the way I am stumbling over fucking everything. Are you excited for the future Firefly animated series? Yes, it is. It was the probably the best they could have done with the cast having aged, and also with the other obligations they all have. I will be sad that Ron Glass will not be there, so it'll be interesting to see who they get to fill in for Preacher. Um, but honestly, I think that is the best they can do without retconning Serenity. There was another easy option I thought that they had for continuing where they left off, which could have brought once again the majority of the cast back, including Wash. I had ideas for ways that could have been explained, um, and probably would have been like the whole first season of a non-animated uh, continuation of Firefly. Um, I am not confident or uh, egotistical enough to reach out and be like, "So, guys, what about this idea?" and try to pitch that to anyone. Um, but honestly, yes, I am excited for the animated series. I hope it gets picked up in like the next year or two and actually gets to be a thing. But it's always going to be one of those we have to wait and see. The fact they basically went to pitch it and they didn't do it like Critical Role did, which was Kickstarter the first season of it, and then try to get it picked up again. Um, I think is uh, possibly a missed opportunity, but it also might help them when they shop it around as well, because it's up in the air, and they can get a really nice bidding war going for it between somebody. I'm sure the Brown Coat Nation is rabid, so no problem, Raf. Have a good day at work, man. Be safe out there. I'm not doing it myself, but what are your thoughts on fan fiction? Not for profits, just curious. Whatever you want to write for your own titillation is nothing I'm ever going to take umbrage with. Like I said, the only time I will take umbrage is if you turn it around and try to make a profit off of it. And that's just because that's fucking rude. So, but you write something for your own titillation, or you write something and then you post it up on a free site as fanfic, that happens. It's actually a little bit flattering because it means somebody enjoyed your stuff enough to take the time to do so. And as long as, like I said, as long as you're not trying to make a profit off it, I don't care. Is the smoky old fashioned a piece of you? I really enjoy the smoky old fashioned at the AG, which is at the Ritz Carlton in downtown Atlanta. It is my favorite old fashioned. I've had dozens of other old fashions since then, smoky and not, and that one is still my favorite. It could just be nostalgia, but I don't think so. I am surprised at the response people had to the trauma in Heavenly Chaos, especially if the impact is still there in later volumes, but it's definitely not as heavy as in the first book, and it shouldn't be. There's been movement on all sides. Um, I think Sadie's trauma took some people by surprise, um, but honestly, it shouldn't have when you get to meet her family. When her family shows up in book 4, I think it kind of people go, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, I can see that. Um, but hers wasn't anywhere near as intense or prolonged as Atropos or Ben, and neither of them are exactly 100% over their trauma because that's not how it works. Um, but they have made great strides in their lives. Ben still has a long way to go. Since you're an after action reporter, have you ever had an MC that lied to you about how the story went and had to put your foot down? Um, the only time I've retconned an entire story was the first Apocalypse Gates when Alvin decided he wanted to be a paladin, and then I rewrote Apocalypse Gates book 1, and he behaved himself ever since that moment. So I haven't had that same incident happen since. How many coins do you decide to do in a batch? A few hundred. I figure that's enough. I give away 5 coins every month for my giveaway months like this one. There's going to be, 20 plus coins given away, 30-ish, give or take. And then October, the same thing. So let's see. So let's say 30, 60, and then another 5 through the other 10. So about 110 coins a year. Now that's spread across the entire collection of coins, which I think is 10, 10 or 11 now. So I mean, I have them, and then like some coins that really don't go. My Resurrection Quest coins, I will probably never have to run another batch of those in my lifetime. So, but like Aethers, I ran 100 of them the first time. I had to get a second run of those. I did a second run of those, much higher in number because of how fast they went. Because Aethers was my best series. Book for book, it is still my best-selling series. It and Heavenly Chaos are the two closest series in a sale in sales. So, and then there are those here tonight that aim for getting an ogre stare with a question. I mean, yeah, there are one or two dedicated fans who just want me to stare at them. Why you want to be stared at like I think you're an idiot? I don't know. But some people are into that, and I am not going to kink shame. If that's what you enjoy, I am not going to I am not going to shame you. I might kink question. I will not kink shame. Cat overlords headbutt you or paw you in the face for wet food. They don't paw me in the face. I think self-preservation is still there. It's mostly headbutts or basically a loud purr directly in my ear, or a cat screaming from across the room. No, the cats go for me, please. I am second person. I am the one that they don't mind upsetting. He Who Fights with Monsters is 20% food porn. I mean, the same has been said about some of my books too, so I'm I'm not going to say that. I have no problem with a good food sequence. If I remember correctly, you said last month that you would be working directly with Andy for Audibles. Is it difficult to be an indie that includes Audible? Not for me. It all goes through ACX. Whether or not Audible is going to shoot itself in the foot with its whole um, premiums plus service is yet to be seen. I know that they have upset people, but since that is still currently an opt-in system, it doesn't bother me yet. My cat has learned to knock the wife's glasses off the desk is a good way to wake her up. That's why mine go in my bed night, one of my drawers in my nightstand that they can't really open easily. My Kindle and my glasses both go in a drawer. I don't trust them. I need my eyes. I am not playing. Random thought: how would Japan handle the world of Apocalypse games, considering the legends, wars, and culture? I don't know. Alvin didn't get the chance to tell me that. I know what one of the next arcs was going to be when they stepped outside of North America, because that there was bits of it already being prepped in the series, but I didn't have any information outside of a very specific area on the world stage. So we probably will never know. I was told Bruce Centaur is having problems with Audible. I am currently not. So in Heavenly Chaos, Martha and Denton are parental figures in Benedict's life. How will he accept them as such? I understand if this question is answered and wait to see. I I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I can respond to that. He quasi accepts them as guidance figures, older people that he respects. Um, Martha, Denton, and Agatha. And God damn it, this is why I have spreadsheets for names. His cook teacher, which I can't think of the name of for the life of me right now. Um, those were all four older individuals in places of power above him that he saw as guiding figures that he wasn't afraid of. They never gave him a reason for those instincts to kick in, and that's saying something considering Denton was teaching him how to fight. In the back of your books, you do authors you find, community, and other series. Since Twitch seems to be working well, would you mention it to hopefully bring people to the monthly sessions? Um, Honestly, it's not a bad idea. It's probably something I should do. Just a quick, hey, I do monthly live chats on Twitch would probably be something I should add to my author's note. Um, so maybe, I mean, it is something I should do. I am fairly shit at self promoting, so I'm not surprised I never thought of it. But yes, it is something I should probably take a look at. I do this for you guys, for the diehard fans. I mentioned the live chats on Facebook, on Discord, on social media, uh, on Twitter slash X, whatever the fuck it's called nowadays. I mention it in the places that I post things. So for those people who really want to be engaged in some way, you should know about them. Um, if you enjoy my books and you're not on any of the social media platforms, that's a valid thing. I understand. I use mine for basically business related reasons. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, I probably should. I hope that roundabout answers things. I have been a Ward Bond Patreon member since December 2020. What are the best ways to support you? Do Amazon comments help a lot, or would something else be better? Um, Dice, thank you. First of all, thank you for being a Patreon supporter. Um, Honestly, the best things you can do are word of mouth. Telling friends, family who would understand. Hey, this author writes really good slice of life books. I think you'd enjoy this. Hey, you should try that. That will always be one of the best ways you can support someone. If you have a social media presence mentioning, "Hey, I really read Heavenly Chaos. I think it's a great series. It has a lot of room for growth." Cool. That helps. Word of mouth is always going to be one of the best ways. Um, Leaving a review on Amazon, of course, does help. The more reviews something has on Amazon's, the more it interacts with their algorithms, the more it gets pushed out in front of other people. Um, those I think are the two best ways. Patreon, of course, if you want to go above and beyond in that way to throw a few extra dollars at me every month, I wouldn't say no. Um, I keep my Patreons very very concise, very short. I know there are other people who have like 17 different tiers, and you do this and you'll get this extra thing or that, and I like short and concise, and I never want to promise you something you're not going to get. Because I have followed one or two other authors in the past who were like, and at this tier you'll get this special thing, and those things never showed up, and I don't want to be that guy. You'll get a behind the scenes look at any new series that I'm thinking about writing, and that's not going to happen for me. So I'm not going to put it up there as a tier and then get people upset that it never shows up, because I don't do that. You got me hooked on M Trust last live. You recommended Summoned by Monster Girls, another one of his series that I really enjoy. Um, Honestly, Matt has not written a book that I have disliked. There have been, I think there's one series that I'm fairly ambivalent about. It's good, but it's not good enough for me to push it to the top of my TBR. It sits there waiting to be read. But that's, as I tell people with my stuff when they say, I really like your stuff, but I hate Antecedents Legacy. That's cool. Not every series is for every person, and I understand that. It's fine. I still laugh when people read a clearly labeled harem story and then complain about the harem. The only time it bothers me is when you're 12 books into Aethers, and now is when you say, "Yeah, I really hate harem." Okay, I mean, odd. Maybe the size of the harem, because Aethers is at this point my largest active series harem. Um, Maybe. I think with the books going forward here, where you're not going to have as much of the family together at a time, I think it'll start to understand. For some of you, will understand why things are the way they are. We'll see. But most of my series are going to be being kept more concise in the future. Um, and if anybody tries to pull a Sean, I'm going to slap them. I mean, Xander's harem is fairly girthy at this point, but it's not. It's. I don't even think it's Gregory sized. I don't have my spreadsheet up either. Yeah, it's not. It's not Gregory sized. So light novels are hard to get here in the states. I enjoy light novels better than manga, but like mangas more than anime because books are mass produced for the individuals. Um, you can get um, quite a few of the light novels for a lot of different series, honestly. But since they're done through like Yen Press and stuff, they're like 8.99 per book, or 12.99 per book in some cases. So it gets pricier faster. My only experience with M Tress is Lost Bloodlines. Good series. Not the one of his I love the most. I love Monster Girls in Space the most, and then either Summoned by Monster Girls or the, God damn it, the Cultivating one. I can't think of it. I'm sorry, Matt. You know that I suck at series names. If you're here, you can type it in. You can show yourself a dirty, filthy harem author. So when you're going to write a series with really, when are you going to write a series with really detailed or steam sex scenes? Apocalypse Gates is probably the lewdest series I have. I'm not saying that I write the most depraved, dirty stuff. I am fairly tame compared to some. I call myself a dirty, filthy harem author, mostly tongue in cheek, because when I say I write harem, people go, "Oh, he writes harem." Like, yes, I write harem. I'm sorry, I'm a dirty, filthy harem author. Um, so me taking that title is far more tongue in cheek than anything else. But if you want my lewdest, most graphic series, that would be Apocalypse Gates. Looking forward to seeing you again at Lit RPG Con. I will be there, Wolf. I am sponsoring the vendor hall, so I will be there. My tables are actually going to be just outside of the vendor hall. I didn't need to be able I didn't need to lock my stuff up, so I'm like, I'll take these tables right outside. Everyone will see me as they walk in, and more than most will see me as they walk back out. Works for me. How far ahead of a con do you have to let them know you are attending? Um, it depends on the con. Since like I'm going as a sponsor, I knew back when they were setting up for this year. I knew back before they were setting up for the year before that. If you're going as an attendee, you normally they you fill out the, hey, I would like to come as a featured author kind of thing, and that all moves months and months ahead of time because they have to be able to know who's showing up, who they're going to feature. They have to get their panel set, all the rest of that. So if you're just showing up as a guest, you're just showing up to attend, you're just an attendee, then you just need to get your ticket before they run out. So don't apologize. Words are hard. Return to caveman. Let everyone else figure it out on their own. No, I will apologize because I am here at the moment to give back and to entertain to a degree. And it's hard to be entertained if the person is always stumbling over their words. Once or twice it can be funny. All the time it just fucking sucks. It's like listening to somebody if they're um and there's one of them doing an interview or a podcast and it's like then there's the all the pauses and stops that people do normally, but it's always a little harder when you know you're being recorded for posterity because you always want to be a little more certain about what you're saying. So with it being so close to Angel's bedtime, I think the odds of him accidentally biting his tongue goes up by the minute. Unlikely I bite my tongue. More likely I just stumble over my words a lot. I haven't bitten my tongue very often in my life. And when I do, it's normally while I'm eating. How often do people get a coin 2 months in a row? Very, very infrequently. It has happened in the past, but it is unlikely to happen. Um, so like at the moment, I have 42 people watching, right? Um, Out of that, I'll get about 30-ish names, and then I pick 5 winners. So you have technically a 1 in 6 chance. It's actually 1 in 30 chance, 5 separate times, but it equates down to you have about a 1 in 6 chance of being one of the winners. So, how much cheese is too much cheese on lasagna? There's no such thing as too much cheese. I'm sorry. My personal stance, since I am not lactose intolerant, is there's no such thing. I am sure there is a point where it takes so long to get a slice and everything that maybe it's a little annoying, but it's cheese. I read the first chapter of book 5, and I love that the grandma was fine on her choice, and the only difference. I love the first chapter of book 5. Oh, Patreon. Okay, yeah. So for those wondering there, because That took me so much longer than it should have. The first chapter of Heavenly Chaos 5 is up to the public on Patreon. So that is what he is referencing here. If you want the first chapter of Heavenly Chaos 5, you can go over to Patreon. It's free to the public, or is it open to the free members? I forget. You don't have to pay me to see the first chapter. How about that? There we go. See, now we're getting into back and forth about that one. Too Tall, thanks for popping in. Hope to see you at Lit RPG Con? Question mark. Can we pay extra for the stare? No, it's never paid for. You get it if you deserve it. Why did a guy who swings a hammer name himself Blood Axe? You mean the weapon that is axe blade on one side and hammerhead on the other? Sometimes you need a blade. He started with the hammer. He now uses a weapon that has consistently been axe blade one side, hammerhead other. So, when are we getting our Shinhofen cookbook? It is slowly being worked on in the background, Mo. Slowly, slowly being worked on. But it is being worked on. So, that is progress in a way. I tend to absorb your books by listening at 2 times speed, but it seems like your books are getting shorter or I just can't stop until finished. Most of my books run right around the same length. Um, they're normally between 100 to 120,000 words. Aethers has run consistently a little bit longer. But most of my books, I think Binding Words 1 was the shortest. It was like 80 something thousand words. But most of my books run 100 to 120,000 words. So they're fairly consistent. If you're listening on 2 times speed, I think you're pulling some of the excellent narration out of it with the way Andy presents the voices, but to each their own. I know that sometimes audiobooks are just too slow for people. My girlfriend doesn't like audiobooks because they're slower. I had major issues with a former roommate's cat that would jump onto my chest and kneading with open claws. Yeah, that'd be a problem. I hive to cat's claws. So yeah, that would be a major problem. I enjoy Heavenly Chaos. I can relate some to Ben's issues as a father of 3 daughters. I'm very thankful never having to deal with Atropos issues. So I was not taken aback by the trauma drama. I noticed there was less of it in Heavenly Chaos 4, with the exception of the mothers. That in itself would be a whole series. I mean, broken people are broken, and you can move past it if you put in time and effort and you have the right support group around you. Huge fan, love your works. Which your series would you say has been the most rewarding to write? Um, Last Horizons, because it's the series that started me continuing. Well, it started me as a writer and then got me to continue to write. Um, so I'm gonna default to the easy answer. I have a real hard time with like favorites, and that's kind of a favorite question. I have enjoyed everything I've written, even Resurrection Quest, which I fucking loved and was the worst book I've ever fucking published from a business standpoint. Um, so I was messaging you directly on Facebook before I realized you had a Discord or a monthly Twitter Q&A. Twitch Q&A, I'm assuming. You can get a hold of me on almost any of the social medias. I will eventually get back to you. Normally, I'm fairly good about responding in a quasi decent amount of time. It's really not the words I wanted to string together. Quasi rapid manner. Um, Even ones that are like, hey, I work at this business and we'd like to help you. I normally at least give back I'm not interested at this time, instead of just leaving people unread. Um, if they're contacting just the Shinhofen Books Facebook name, not like my name in the group, those ones always take me longer to get back to because I don't check the business page that often. Ben's cooking instructors, Edward, a kind uncle. Thank you. I have spreadsheets for a reason. You see those people with $100 Patreon tiers can't imagine what they would have to really offer to get that a month. No, I've seen authors do that, and they can get it, but you know they normally offer things that I wouldn't be entirely happy with myself. Steel Forged Legacy. That's the Cultivation series by Tress. Thank you. I really enjoy that series too. Unfortunately, if I had to make a list of favorites, Daniel would have to separate because all of them would be at the top on the general category system. I have a real hard time with favorites, honestly. Xander really can't compare with Sean. Nobody compares with Sean. To be serious, Sean made a mistake in book 5, I want to say it was. And I didn't catch it until I was writing the next book. And by then, far too late. So now I'm a little more on the ball when it comes to things that could spiral quite so much. I am convinced the Ogre Lord made Badger say no more Dryads. No, Badger said that one. Xander said that all by himself, and his reason stands. Will you ever write a series as filthy as AG again? Probably not. I have come to enjoy the style that I am writing in. Once with a loved one on screen, I think it's enough. It shows a bedroom dynamic. You understand how they're going to interact in those moments. Showing like a second time where uh, God damn it, names. Sean's story when he was they were moving forward and people were going to start having kids. Those were character moments. When Andrea was trying to have a child and she had a breakdown because Chastity was no longer going to be there to also have a child. Um, to me that's a huge character moment. So that scene gets shown for a reason. Would it be easy to include a sex scene in every book? Yeah, easy. At that point, I think it's more gratuitous. It's just there to fuel the FAP, and that's not what I'm writing. I think I got a coin 2 months in a row once. That was when Daniel was still having live chats on Facebook. It has happened since I've moved to Twitch. It just, like I said, it doesn't happen often because I give away 5 coins, and I normally have a list of 30 plus names. So, and I am getting close to the end of the questions, ladies and gentlemen. I am getting close to the end of the questions, so you're all aware. If you have questions, you need to get them in because we end when I run out of things to talk about. I love all the dwarven names and antecedents that come up with. Um, I I try really hard with dwarven names, honestly. Could you say the cookbook is simmering on the back burner? Well, it's actually being prepped by a prep chef currently. So, are you a daily writer? If so, how do you develop the discipline to do so? I am autistic in the way of I thrive on routine. And when something upsets that routine, it ruins my day. So writing a chapter every day is something that I gravitate towards naturally. So to me, it wasn't a how did I get the discipline to do so? It's just this is how my brain works. Last Horizons was my first led RPG book, and it got me hooked. Brian, thank you for being in all the way back in the day. Then a lot of love there from my friends in the bananas. I know there is some time skipping in AR. Will we see that in Heavenly Chaos? I'm sure there will be, but getting to rank 10 seems to be like a major event. While getting to rank 50 will be centuries. Yeah, there's going to be time skips. I mean, at the moment, you're still in the early part of it where the relationship is still fleshing out. They're still finding their footing. They've left the planet for the first time. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more shown early on when they're like level when they're ranked 22. Am I going to show like every single pocket they go through? No, probably not. Yeah, at that point you should have an idea of who they are, how they operate together. If I show something, it's going to be there was a challenge that really pressed them. So, and this one just popped up. My brain is melting. Gonna go rest. APOC, thanks for coming in, man. Hope you get some good sleep, brother. Go rest, sir. At my limit with pain in the head, I need to bug out. No problem, Ignite. We are probably going to be wrapping up soon anyway because I am running out of questions. So I hope the pain eases for you and you have a good night. How many characters have you named after Andy? I can think of at least 3. Honestly, that I named after her, 2. And they were related and they were in Alpha World. That's it. The Andrea Andy in Binding Words was not named after my narrator. That was just the name that came up. It's the name that I used, and then shortening it down to Andy was just something that my brain did naturally because of who I work with. But that character wasn't named after her. That was just the name that came up when I was making a character. I can only imagine the look you had when you realized what Sean did with the staff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fucking Sean. Fucking Sean. Fade to Black sex scenes work out better. I generally skip those sections. I mean, and it's fine. I separate them out into separate chapters now specifically, so those people who want to skip can. Oh man, what did I do to my tattoo? Um, those people who want to skip those chapters can easily without it impacting anything else. Fuel the fab. It's an amazing phrase. Well, I mean it's fab fodder. It's what it's there for. I'm glad you put sex scenes at the end of the chapter so I could skip them while I'm at work. Yeah, like I said, that is something I started doing after Apocalypse Gates, or is it like most of the way through Apocalypse Gates? It's something I started doing as I continued to write, and it was specifically so people could bypass those sections if they wanted to. So, how do you maintain such a glorious beard? Well, I have a Jesus Christ, DJ, hair person that helps take care of it. But mostly it's just the standard maintenance everybody should be giving the hair on their head or face. And it's not a certified barber. The other one. And I can't think of the name of it. Ah, how do book ideas manifest? Are they self-induced, or do you accept some coming up to you and saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" No, I don't. No, if you come to me and say, "Hey, I have an idea," I am probably never writing that idea. I am never going to go through the battle or legal hassle or anything else that might arise from someone saying, "I pitched him that idea. I deserve 50% of that." Just never putting myself in through that mess. As one of my moderators then decides to skippy it by sending me a private message. Do you design the coins, or do you have someone help you? My artists, the two artists I've worked with the most have helped design most of the coins I have. So there is there is a coin for something that will be coming up that was done by the same artist who did the cover, which has been the case for most of them. But man, it looks so good. So good. And the coin company did so good with it. I mean, one day the rest of you will see it. But I have run out of questions, ladies and gentlemen. That means we are here at the end of the live chat, an hour or something in. I want to thank you all for coming. The next live chat will be June 15th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. The Discord already has the event made up, so you can make sure to click that, which will give you a reminder. Discord gets pinged when the events go up, guys, and then normally somebody in Facebook asks, "Hey, when's the live chat on the 15th this month?" To all those little things, and then I post normally on Twitter X, hey, live chat in 5-10 minutes or whatever. So there are various ways to remind yourself if you don't make a note of it yourself that there is a live chat coming up. So the next live chat will be in June 15th, 3 p.m. We will probably have updates about where the Kickstarter is for the Aethers book, and then probably more information about the newer Kickstarter that will be launching in July. So you might want to come to next month too. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Talk to you later. Bye.